everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to a new sewing chat video. Today I have for you my monthly finished sewing projects with KnipMode Magazine, and I'm going to talk about the patterns that I made from this issue July 2024. Please don't forget to give thumbs up to the video. You can do it just now, you know, you don't need to do anything else. It's very important. And of course, I always love to hear your comments and your ideas, and I always get great tips from the comments, so always enjoyable. Please take a moment and leave a comment. So with that being said, again, like the video, very important. I'm going to go really fast to my projects. In my sewing room is at the moment 27 degrees. It's really hot. It's better to make this video in the bathroom because there is a little bit cooler. Yes, so if my brain is not going to boil completely, we have in Germany a week of warm weather from Friday. Today's Wednesday. From Friday is going to get a little bit less warm. But anyway, as I said, my brain is starting to boil, so I need to go fast with the projects. So from this month, from this issue, from July 2024, I made three garments using two patterns, and I have a third pattern in the work at the moment. But I really wanted to show you these ones because, you know, the month is almost over. This is because of the heat. I need to sneeze. Okay. So I really wanted to put these ones on the channel because like this, you know, I'm keeping my monthly finished projects videos. So let's see. This one is dress number 19, the one here on the doll. You of course see pictures. I'm not wearing it because I really want to show you some things on the inside. And this one with holes and everything, the one I'm wearing, is a dress number 21A, if I'm not mistaken. And I also made the top from this one without the hole. So first of all, I'm going to talk about dress number 19. So that will be this one here. They made it in Knip Mode in a really nice cotton, in a beige sandy color and in black. I think it's looking really great in both of them. Originally I wanted to make this one in I'm sweating, to make this one in a navy cotton, but something happened with the post and I'm still waiting for that one. And when I get it, if I really like it, I'm definitely going to make another version of this one because it's a really nice, very perfect dress for the summer. So I made my version also in a cotton. It's a cotton poplin, and this one is this cotton is from Drissen, and I have another cotton poplin from Drissen. It's another type of cotton, and that one is making a kind of noise. I do love the print on the other one, but this one is, you know, it's just a soft cotton poplin. I really like this one. It was also not very expensive. It was really cheap actually. So I'm really happy with the dress. So let's talk a little bit about the pattern. So as you can see here, it's a sleeveless style. It has a really high neckline, and actually the original neckline is even higher. You can see it here a little bit on this girl, and on the model here in black you can see that the neckline is really high. You will see definitely pictures on the side here with how the neckline is sitting on me at the moment, but as you can see, the high neck on the doll is about 2 centimeters higher than what I have now, and I must say that this is really a great point, because as I had it here in my, this is the original neckline with 6 millimeter seam allowance, it was very high. The seam allowance is of course still on here. But if we take a, oh, and of course turn the back to the back. On the back here we have of course that hole at the waist. There is elastic at the waist here. Actually the elastic is going all the way around, and here in the back, and I'm going to bring this girl a little bit closer. Here is a hidden button closure. I have 2 buttons actually, and it's a very, how should I say, it's a really easy to make. There is a gap here in my doll. There are 2 buttons and 2 buttonholes, and actually when you are buttoning this up, the buttons are falling inside this this facing that is cut on the bodies. I must say that it's not something that you can easily button up together, but I noticed that actually the lower button is a little bit difficult to to close, but this one higher here is going much easier. But I will say a few words about things that you could change if you consider this dress and you are afraid that you are not very, you know, you cannot stretch so much to close it. You definitely need to have a closure there in the back, because the thing needs to get open, of course. There is a really small neckline. So if we take a look at the pattern pieces here, I got the PDF, and I'm pretty sure that, as I said, I have a subscription for Knip Mode, but I have also a collaboration with them that I get to choose a pattern from the upcoming magazine that I can make it in advance a little bit. And I get from them the PDF, and in the PDF pattern, I'm pretty sure that in the store is also the same. There are a few styles included. So it's this one here is dress number 19. There is also the cover dress, this little mini dress here that you can see on the cover, and the other one that is also in the same it's not in the same, but it's from this, it uses the same pattern pieces, or at least for the bodies, is dress number 17, and I just want to take a look. Where is that? Dress number 17 is on page 53. So I'm thinking that if you make one of them, you can definitely easily make also the other style. So that will be this little dress here. You can see them here. You can see the pieces that you get. Actually, they're really easy to follow. You can see that this is actually the back of that cover dress. This is the front, and this, where is it? Let me see. This little piece here, this is the front bodice, actually just above the bust, so the armhole and the neckline is the same. Where is it? I missed it. Let's turn it. Is this one here? So the armhole and the neckline, and then you put this one either on this one here with the bust dart, or you, and of course the more fitted waist, or you put it on this pattern piece here with this bust dart and the one that is more flared. So that's a really, that's a really easy concept, because if you have already fitted that upper piece here, the armhole and the neckline, you can use that, you know, to put it with the other dresses. So I think that's really smart. Now on this one, so this one uses the same upper part together with the lower part of the fitted dress, which is this one here. So you get the bust dart and the waist dart. But in this model here, they don't use the waist dart. So in the pattern piece, I'm going to show it to you, and of course you see here also my adjustments. In the pattern piece, as you can see, you have the waist darts here, but the model, this option is getting gathered on the waist, in the waist, also the bodies, so you don't need to sew up the waist darts. What you can do if you don't really like this, you can see in the pictures how this looks, but if you don't really like to have the bodies also of the dress gathered, so you like only the gathered skirt to come into a fitted bodice, and I'm talking only about the front here, you can definitely sew the original waist darts here. You can sew the darts from the size what you need. You can sew them and you have a nice fitted bodice here. They are bust darts. You have a nice fitted waist, and then you can put your gathered skirt. The next thing that you have to do, if you are sewing the bust darts into the bodice, you have to later, after the skirt is attached, they put elastic in the seam allowance of at the waist, and I'll show you in a moment how that looks. But if you are making that change to make your bodice fitted, then you have to put the elastic only on the back of the dress, and you just leave the front alone without the elastic, so there's no need of that elastic there. I'm going to try to take this off because I really want to show you the but I'm going to leave it for a moment. I will show you the changes first, and then I will take it off. So for this one, I did want to have I'm sweating. I did want to have a test garment. let's see how, because I want to bring this one too. You can see them both. And so I made only the front and the back. The back piece is looking like this. So here is that hole, here are the sides. But for me, I was really interested to see how the neckline is, how high it is, because it was looking really high in the pictures, in the model pictures. And also I wanted to see if I have no gaping here, because with sleeveless styles sometimes that's happening that I have some gaping on the here, the armhole. So of course I had that, and that's great. When you make a toile, you can see these things and you can adjust them. So in this case, because I had only just a little bit of a gaping here, the armhole, let's see, imagine that I have this one on, and there is just a little bit of the fabric is not sitting against the body, but is, let's see if I can turn it like this, is gaping a little bit. So I just pinch it, and then I decided that I want to have about 1 centimeter lesser in the armhole, and having a bust dart, that's really nice. You can see my adjustment here. About 1/3 of the length of the armhole here up, actually just above the notch. I just measured 1 centimeter, and of course you need to measure that on the seam line. I have here 1 centimeter seam allowance. I measured on the seam line 1 centimeter, and I made like a dart going at the point of the bust dart. I also clipped on cut on one of the legs of the bust darts. I close it here and cut open on the bust, as you can see here, and then I just, using the original legs of the beginning of the legs of the dart, I just traced the new dart. I also lifted the point of the dart, because that's something that I need almost every time. It was lifted by 1 centimeter, as you can see, and then my dart got a little bit bigger because it got a little bit of the extra from here. Also, what I really wanted to add a little bit extra at the underarm here, just because it was a little bit too low and I was afraid that it's going to show stuff like bra and other things. So 1 centimeter lifted up and then blended back into my armhole. And for the neckline, I dropped it just here 2 centimeter from the original neckline, 2 centimeter down, and then blend it, you know, with a nice curve. You need to always need to try to blend it nicely back. So this was what I did on the front. On the back, here is the back, because I raised that armhole on the front. Of course I had to do the same on the back, because, you know, side seams needs to come together. So also here I lifted by 1 centimeter, and for the rest no other changes, as you can see. Something to remember, you can see here that this is the back piece, that you have an extra cut-on facing for that closure on the back, and there is a line where you need to cut for the, let's see, for the right as worn panel, and also there is here another line which I totally missed, that you need to cut for your facing. So let's see, this is the facing. Where is the facing? This is the back facing. You have here that this is the back facing. You put this one here, as you can see, but I forgot that on my left bodice, because that one is of course longer, there is also a line here of, that's also the, let's see, no, for the right one. For the right one, you have here also a line where the facing also needs to get a little bit shorter. Another change that I was thinking later, you know, later when the dress was finished, what you can also adjust if you don't want to have the hole. Let's turn it. If you don't want to have the hole going so much to the side, you can definitely, I'm going to put this away because it's messing up with my light. You can definitely add a little bit fabric here. Let's see, here. Let's bring back this. I'd just make this curve a little bit lesser shallow, so a little bit or more shallow, or how should I say, you know, to make this lower part here, the waist a little bit wider, so you have a little bit of a smaller hole, and that's going to cover just a little bit more of the back. And I think that's something that if I'm going to make it again, that's something that I'm going to adjust maybe like 2 centimeters or something like that, and blend it back in the original hole. That will hide a little bit of the, you know, the side stuff. I must say that a dress with a hole like this is just perfect for, you know, for when it's warm. You can really sweat it out. Yes, so that was what I changed. Also, I remember now, the pattern pieces for you don't get pattern pieces for the skirts, you only get measurements, and there are only rectangles of fabric. And I was, after I made this one, I had the 3 meters of fabric, and I was thinking, well, I'm not going to get it completely out, because it was, you know, I used something for this one. So I didn't have enough for to make the lower part of the skirt the complete length. And I was thinking, well, I'm going to measure, because most of the time the patterns are a little bit too long on me. And I took 9 centimeters away, I made it 9 centimeters shorter, the pattern piece, the measurement. And then you see how long the dress is. And I used also, I did not add extra seam allowance for the hem, or hem allowance. And I used 4 centimeters for the hem, or 3. So can you imagine that I shortened it up by 11 centimeters. So if you intend to make this one, measure a little bit yourself, and look at the measurements for the skirt, and maybe decide in advance, because it is quite a bit of fabric that you can save. The armholes are finished with bias binding, and I'm going to try to take it now off the mannequin, because I really want to show you the inside. My mannequin is a little bit sticky, probably as sticky as I am. Well, the fabric on the mannequin is not very okay, let's see. So let's turn this girl inside out. For the rest, this is a really easy to make pattern. I'm always saying this, but it is really easy. There is a little bit, and I was thinking to make a tutorial for this closure, but then I was thinking, well, how many people are going to make this one that are really watching at my channel? So, you know, if you really need to have some help with it, I can totally make tutorial, because I have this one here and I can use it, so I don't need to cut another piece, only the facings, but that's not a big deal. So as you can see, this is how it's looking from the inside. This is the facing that is cut on actually, and you make in advance, you make 2 buttonholes, and this one is coming like this. They do advise the instructions. I did change a little bit the instructions, the order of sewing, because you need to sew at the moment I think the side seams and even the center back seam, and then you make this closure or something like that. But I found that sewing only the shoulder seams, and then making all this ready, finishing the neckline with the closure, and just at the last step sew the center back seam and the side seam and all that. So you should think a little bit in advance. As you can see, the facing, the neckline is finished with facings, and of course I understitched. The facings are interfaced. I was thinking, I read a few days ago on Facebook, I think, I had to have a sip of water. I read a message about somebody who was asking why her facing was turning on the outside, was not sitting in place, and I think in that dress was also a little bit, the neckline was a little bit wider. But I was thinking, if I was to give some tips for facings and stuff like that, first of all I would say use a small seam allowance when you are sewing a facing or a collar or whatever in a small curve like this. Using a small seam allowance will help you sew those 2 pieces of fabric really easily together. You need to try, make a mock-up, just a small piece with 1.5 centimeter seam allowance, what most of the patterns are using, and make one with 6 millimeter seam allowance, and you'll see how easy the pieces are coming together. Also, you don't need to clip the seam. because the seam allowance is already really small, or to grade your seams. Again, your seam allowance is already really small. Don't sew really close on the edge, so just maybe 2 or 3 millimeters. So don't go so close that you are almost sewing into the seam. And also something else that I tried in my Amira dress from Designer Stitch, you have a video here on the channel. I tried a 3-step zigzag stitch, and it really works. It's maybe also on that, because the neckline was much open, it works really great. Just try it and you'll be really surprised if you find that just a normal understitching is not doing the work. Try a triple zigzag stitch. So yeah, my big advice, just use a small seam allowance. It's really no need to use 1.5 centimeters seam allowance on the neckline. It's really not necessary. So for the rest, on the dress, here the back. So the back I used for here there is elastic in that hole in the back, and I used 1.5 centimeter seam allowance, turned it twice, and used 6 millimeter seam allowance, 6 millimeter wide elastic. So that's the tunnel here in the back. For the waist, and here you can see the elastic on the waist, this is in the front. I used just my serger to put it in place. Here I used, let's see, what is this, 1 centimeter seam allowance, and I used a little bit wider seam elastic than what they say in the magazine. This is a 1 centimeter. And again, if you decide to sew those darts in the bodice here, you don't need to add the elastic in the front of the dress, but you definitely need to add it here in the back, because you have it here, you see where the hole is. You need to have the elastic to keep it nicely against your body. And here in the back, the dress, let's see, I top stitched, because after you put the elastic in the seam allowance, let's turn this. After you put the elastic in the seam allowance, the next step is to turn that to the inside and top stitch it. And I top stitch it only between the, you know, between the opening legs, let's say. I used bias binding to finish the armholes, and for the rest, oh, and I used for the to make the gathers in the skirt. I know a lot of people are hating the gathers. I also not a big fan of the gathers, of gathering. I do love gathers, but I'm not a big fan of gathering. I used my serger, and I noticed that putting the differential feed on the highest point and using a number 4 stitch width did really gathered the pieces exactly on the same, at the needed width, let's say. So very easy. So with that being said, I think this is everything that I wanted to say about dress number 19. I will switch the dresses, and I'm going to talk about this one and about the top that I made. Where is it? Is there? And I think this one is also a really nice pattern. You know, especially if you have a little bit of more confidence in your body. I don't know that I'm going to wear this one outside, but you know, maybe in the garden. Anyway, I'm going to switch, and I'm going to talk a little bit about dress 21A. So before I go to talk about the jersey dress, I was putting this one on, and I remember that I did not say anything about fabrics and my ideas what you could use for fabrics for this one. I think this one works really great in cotton, absolutely. It's a great design to have it in cotton. You can see here the hole on me, you know. What is also, I think, what will work really great, it will be, of course, a viscose. Will work really great also with the skirt. Also, you can, as I said, if you have this pattern, you have also the possibility for the flared dress, and also for the really tight one. Because again, if you are fitting this part here, I think the rest is really easy. The cover dress, so the one that is using the same upper part as this one here, of course, this one here they use something with a little bit of stretch, and of course having it so tight, the stretch will give nice comfort. Also, I was saying that I was going to talk about a little bit about the closure here. As you can see, now is it closed, but you cannot see any buttons because they are hidden there into that cotton facing. But if you find it difficult to work these buttons like this, I think you can definitely just put visible buttons that you have better access, or you can change the pattern and make with just a simple slit and with a loop and a little button. I think that will be really the easiest, but you definitely need to have something, and this is how it's looking on me, as you can see. Otherwise it would have been really high. So with that being said, and sweating a little bit more, I'm just going to talk really briefly about dress number 21A. This one is made for knit fabric. So I have it here made in, let's see, is 55, 57. I have it here made in 2 different fabrics. So here they have it made in, I think it's a cotton jersey, I'm almost sure. And as you can see, it's a version where there is no hole in the back, and of course is the version with the hole in the back, and that will be this girl here. What you cannot really see from the, and I did not even think about too much, what you cannot see in the drawing is that that hole is actually coming just a little bit also to the front here. So it was better to make it a little bit like this, because you have definitely you have a hole into the front bodice. And I will show you the pattern piece in a moment. So they give it in the magazine with the hole and without the hole. Here you can see it. It's just a plain back. It uses the same pattern pieces, only the one with the hole you are actually, let's turn this girl back. I said hole so many times in this video and I'm not done yet. So for this one, comparing with the one without the hole, for this one you have the pattern, the back, you cut this piece out. That will be, I tape it here on my pattern piece. You cut it out and then you get a skirt back and bodice back, and the front bodice is getting only a little hole, so this is in one piece, but as you can see here is getting a little cut out, and I saved it here. I taped it on my pattern piece because later I can put it back and I can make a full one. For both dresses, for this one and for that one, I just use my usual size. I will say that in the last months I'm using size 38. And the changes, what for changes I made here? Well, in this one I only made a sway back adjustment, and that will be, of course, this is that center back piece, you know, on the back here. I did make well, in this one here, of course, it has totally no meaning. If you make only the one with the hole, you really don't need to worry about the sway back adjustment. But on this one, let's put the pattern piece away. On this one, it's really necessary to have that sway back adjustment, and having a center back seam is also giving the possibility to shape even more that back, and in the pattern itself is also shaped. The original pattern has a center back seam. So yeah, it's really easy. You can, if you have it like this and you want to have the one with the hole, you just cut according to the pattern pieces and you have that. And here is the skirt piece, and I'm thinking that will be also really cute skirt. Just put it like this and with a wider ribbing or with a wider elastic, and you have a nice jersey skirt. The pattern has the variations that are in the magazine. They have one, and I'm not sure which one, the hole, without the hole. They use it one time with finishing the armholes with bands, and also here I used bands. And they also have one of the makes is just turning, and I think that's the one with the this one, the t-shirt one, or the the purple one here. You can see it here, they use the bands only for the neckline and the hole in the back, of course, but as you can see here on the armhole, I think they just turned it and top stitch it. I'm also not a big fan of that, but if you want, you can definitely do that. But you need to keep in mind that if you are skipping the bands and you want to have only that hem, that this, and I really like this look actually, this is coming with a really small, you can see the difference here. Well, of course it will come about 2.5 centimeters narrower on the shoulder, and that's really, really nice. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, something else, the ribbing, because they use ribbing. In this one I use the same fabric. This is an sweater knit fabric, and I use the same fabric for the bands, also for the neckline and also for the armholes. But in this one I used ribbing, and my tip will be that, because you know they give there the measurements for the ribbing, but these days we have so many types and sorts of ribbing. It's really worth to measure the edge where you want to put your ribbing and decide maybe you need to make it a little bit shorter in order to stretch it a little bit when you are sewing to bring things in. In my case here, the ribbing that I used, and this one was the only one that I had it in a suitable color for this. Also the jersey is really old. This one is from a few years back. This one is really soft, the ribbing, so I had to make the back piece, the lower back and the upper back, I had to make them a little bit shorter, because you really need to measure and to be sure that your ribbing is just a little bit shorter than the edge here on the skirt, because you want to have it to pull in the stuff, you know, the skirt that is going to sit on your body, and it's not going to, you know, to hang down. And you saw it on me, and I'll try to find a picture of the back, a neat one. You really need to have it a little bit tight, well, not tight, but you know, firm on the body. And the same here for the back. The front one, I did not change anything. The construction of this is, so you are sewing the shoulder seams, you can put the ribbing on the neckline at that moment or later, but you are sewing the side seams of the skirt and the side seams of the bodies, of course, and the center back seam, and then you are putting all these ribbing pieces together, so the side pieces and the upper pieces and the lower pieces, mark them, because you will definitely mess them up. I had some papers with the name and pinned to every piece of it, and then later made a marking which one is the lower one and which one is the upper one. There is a really big chance that you'll mess them up if you don't make some markings. So you are sewing this here at the side seams together, press them in half. Well, actually I press them first to have a little bit like a, you know, to see, because it's really easy to press them while they are flat, and later I just press them again. So you press them then double, and then you put them on your skirt. Make some markings again, some middle points that you can stretch it a little bit equally all over the seam, and then I use my serger, of course, and then top stitch it with my sewing machine. I think it's, you know, it's different. I like that. I'm not very confident to wear it outside the door, but it's different. I like it. My daughter, but she's only 13, she really loves it, and she, of course, she will wear this also at school and stuff like that. For the rest, I used the binding, again the ribbing for the armholes and for the neckline. This one is a cotton jersey, is your usual 200 grams cotton jersey. I used for the hem, I used my cover stitch machine, the same for that one. This one is also really great, you know, it will do great for jeans and stuff like that. I really love this knit block that they have at Knip Mode at the moment. Also, I have a turtleneck that I made with the KnipMode Magazine that I really love, the one with the ruching on the sleeve and the body. Bodysuit also very, very nice. So I think it's a great, they have at the moment a really great block for knit patterns. I like that. It's fitting me at least really nicely. So I think this was it. Again, this dress, you can make it the piece. There are these pieces, you can make them of course as the dress without the hole, and I'm definitely going to make that when I'm finding a really nice cotton jersey that I like. So highly recommended also. So I think this was it. My brain is completely boiled. My eyes are starting to burn. So this and you think, why don't have an air conditioning in your room? Well, we live here already for 7-8 years, but to be honest, I think in the last 2 or 3 years we have this really warm summers here. It was not like this in the past. So you know, I'm still debating if I should put an airco or not, but usually I'm sewing or late in the evening or a little bit during the day before the sun is really burning here. So I also wanted to show you the dress that I'm working at the moment. I have it cut on, well, I have the pattern on my table and I'm going to work on it, and I'm going definitely to make a video for that too. That will be dress. Oh, you remember all the pretty swimsuits we got in this edition also. But I'm working at the moment on dress number 16, which will be this one. I'm not a big fan of the fabric that they use in the magazine, but I definitely see it in my own fabric. Very nice. So it has a button closure here in the front. It has a classic collar shirt collar, and some slits here on the side and some elastic at the waist. I think you can see it in the drawing. I really like the drawing. I think it's going to be really pretty, and I'm making it in one of the newest fabric cloths from Minerva. It's a linen something, viscose. It's a blend. It's really nice. So this was it. These are my 3 finished projects from July 2024 Knip Mode. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions about the adjustments that I made, of if you have problems with the instructions, because I know there are a lot of you buying the KnipMode Magazine patterns, although they are not in English. So if there is something that you don't understand, please be free to ask me here in the comments, and I'll do my best to help you. Don't forget, thumbs up, and I hope to see you next time. Well, tomorrow or the day after, I'm going to put, of course, the Patroness flip through and the Burda and all that. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Bye.